Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Open Mike Podcast. The Open Mike Podcast is unofficially brought to you by Liquid Death. Murder your thirst. Don't just quench your thirst. Murder your thirst. Liquid Death. Grab you a tall boy can and dominate. Liquid Death. Murder your thirst. Unofficially sponsored this episode of the Open Mike Podcast. Hello, everybody. It's nice to be here. I'm going to kind of pick up on a story. So last week, we're just gonna jump right in. Ain't wasting no time today. Last week I talked about Cracker Barrel and all that was going on with the sign and the changing of the restaurant and whatever. So lo and behold, this week I guess everybody complained and made such a fuss that Cracker Barrel decided that they're gonna bring the original logo back. And I don't know if that makes everybody happy, but I had posted about this. I got a lot of feedback on that episode, and I'd post about it on social media, and didn't realize that many people cared about it. Cracker Barrel. So some people are like, "You leave my Cracker Barrel alone. How dare you? I love Cracker Barrel." I didn't say anything about Cracker Barrel. It ain't really for me, but I was just not understanding why everybody was so all up in arms. But I was also told that their food was changed years ago, and that's contributed to them losing business too. So it has nothing to do with the sign or anything. But yeah, a lot of people were upset about Cracker Barrel changing the sign to the point where the Cracker Barrel CEO was like, "All right, we're going to bring the cracker and the barrel back to the sign." The old man. Does anybody know the story behind that? I don't really know why they chose the old. What's a Cracker Barrel for one? What is a Cracker Barrel? Can we Google that? Can we Google what is a Cracker Barrel? What is a Cracker Barrel? Restaurant comes up. Cracker Barrel, according to uh, plain, simple, and unsophisticated. An example: the tiresome story would be repeated whenever he felt the urge to display his Cracker Barrel wisdom. I've never heard nobody use that term ever in my life. Cracker Barrel. Man, you a damn Cracker Barrel. Yeah, well, they're bringing the Cracker and the Barrel back to the sign. So, y'all like plain, simple, and unsophisticated? I guess y'all love Cracker Barrel. Anyway, I underestimated how much people love Cracker Barrel. Clearly, a lot of people on my social love Cracker Barrel, and they didn't want the sign changed. So, guess what? Y'all won. You made a bunch of noise about Cracker Barrel, and they changed the sign back. I wish people would make this much noise about school shootings, but they don't, unfortunately. And we had school year just starting around here, and I see in Michigan there was a school shooting this week. Um, yeah. Uh, being a father myself, I don't think we should have to. One of the things we shouldn't have to do is worry that our kids going to go to school that morning and not going to make it home. Um, there's enough things in the world. There's enough issues in the world for us to worry about. The last thing I'd want to have to worry about is my kid going to school and losing their life. Like kids can go to school and they can get beat up, they can get bullied, they can get whatever, but they come home. At the end of the day, they come home. They're alive. And over the years, people have had to not have that experience. And So yeah, people make a lot of noise about a restaurant changing the sign, but they don't make any damn noise about that. And whenever you try to have a conversation, everybody's like, "Well, these are hard conversations to have." Well, okay, but does that mean we just don't have them then? Like a lot of conversations about things that matter that mean something are usually hard to have. They're not easy conversations, but you can't say anything. Everything's not left or right or red or blue or Democrat or Republican, or it's like down the middle. And if one side says, all right, well, we need to take guns away, and then the other side's like, no, it ain't the guns, it's the crazy people. Um, there never appears to be any middle ground, right? Like, and at the end of the day, nothing gets done. We don't do anything because nobody's open to try or do anything. That's just the fact. Um, and then I feel like politicians don't do anything because they use these instances, these horrific events, to feed into their next political campaign, and they don't do anything about it. It's not a Democrat problem. It's not a Republican problem. It's not a liberal problem. It's not a conservative problem. It's not a left problem, a right problem, a red problem, a blue problem. It's an American problem. It's a problem we have in this country as Americans, as a people. No matter what side you're on or what side you claim, it's all our problem. And I've had friends of mine tell me, look, if it means taking my guns away, these are people who are all for the right to bear arms, and but they told me if it would stop getting children shot and killed at school and stop getting schools shot up, they would gladly forfeit their guns. And that says a lot about people who are very much for the Second Amendment, I believe. Um, and then a lot of people, like I said, they bring up the extreme. Well, we just take all the guns away, and that'll just solve it. And then they're like, no, because bad people find a way to get guns illegally. And I could be wrong, but from my recollection, most of the people that commit these acts of violence, these acts of terror, they all have guns legally. Like I don't think any of them, then they may have obtained it from a family member or something like that, but the guns were bought legally. So, yeah, I get it. Bad people find ways to do things like people that do drugs and you tell them not to. Well, they find a way to get drugs and they're illegal. I get it. I don't have the answer to the problem. I wish I did, but I think something doing nothing doesn't solve it either. And that's all that's ever been done is nothing. People bring up, well, let's arm teachers. Uh, let's think about that for a minute. Teachers, that career is one of the probably, it's probably one of the most, one of those probably, talking like Yoda. It's probably one of the most least paid jobs with the most work. Like teachers come to school and they teach kids and they deal with children all day long. Um, that's not an easy job, and it doesn't pay a lot of money. And now you want them to be the protector of your children as well. You want them to carry a firearm in this classroom, and when something happens, do you know the type of training that goes into that? Like people, guns. I, I think people are thinking, well, if the bad guys know that they got guns in the school, that'll deter 'em. No, it won't. And a lot of people are like, well, they go to these school zones because they know there's no guns. Schools have deputies and officers and armed, police officers and sheriff deputies. They have them at the schools. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. And you don't solve a gun problem with more guns. That doesn't solve the problem. The metal detectors, I mean, to me, they got ways that they can be, they don't look like a metal detector. They're hidden in the can't even think of now. Like the door, not the door jam, but the I have a brain fart. Basically, you can have it in doorways where that doesn't just stand out as like a metal detector. But this last shooting, the guy shot through the windows of the school outside. He wasn't even in. He or she. I can't. I don't know the story on that. The name was Robin. I don't know if it was a boy or girl. What, it doesn't matter. Um, yeah, they didn't even go into school. So at that point, a metal detector wouldn't stop that either. So now what do? You put barbed wire fences up around schools and make them look like prisons? Um, I don't know, man. There's not a one solution. It's not one thing. It's not one item that would solve the problem. Um, but there has to be something has to be done. We have to try, take a step somewhere. Um, prayer. A lot of people are like, well, we're going to pray and just wish for the best, I guess. But if I'm unemployed and I'm sitting at home and I pray that God puts food on my table, it's just not going to just poof and there's your food. You got to get up off your ass, go get a job. I mean, you can't, prayer without faith. I mean, does that work? Prayer is fine, but it takes action. I always thought that you can be 18 in this country. You can be 18 years old and buy a firearm, but you can't buy a pack of cigarettes or alcohol. Make that make sense. I don't need any experience. This is one thing that I've brought up, and people are like, no, we don't need more rules against guns and making it harder for us to own guns. I've always said I don't think you should be able to buy a firearm without any type of safety training. If you want to get a hunting license, you have to take a hunter safety course, right? You want to get a license to hunt, you have to have a hunter safety course. But yet to buy a gun, you don't need any type of safety training or anything at all. If we can do it for hunting licenses, why can't we just do it for you to buy the gun in general? You want to buy this firearm? You don't know anything. Like I could walk in a store not having ever owned a firearm, shot a firearm, cleaned a firearm, loaded a firearm, don't know anything about bullets, ammunition, all that stuff. I can go buy a gun without zero training, zero anything. Nobody sees that the fault, the error in that. And I get it, the Second Amendment, right to bear arms. I don't need to have no training to do that. I don't need to. Well, that was written how many years ago? And why was the Second Amendment like? That's another thing too that kind of it pisses me off sometimes when we talk about why the Second Amendment um why the Second Amendment was created. Um a lot of people just like, I don't want them infringing on my rights. Um but the world is a different place. The Second Amendment um adopted in 1791. 1791. The world's changed a little bit since then. I think most of y'all would probably agree with that, right? 1791 to 2025. Um, the Second Amendment reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Um, like right now, people are like, well, it's an individual's right to carry and use, firearms for self-defense. Um, I just don't think when they wrote the Second Amendment, that's what it was for, right? Like, we didn't have an army, we didn't have a military, we didn't have any of that back in 1791. The people were the militia. That was it. Like, that was how they protected themselves back then. Um, so it's just I don't know. But like I said, if you want to buy a gun, you should have to have some type of training, some type of course, because you have to have a course to get a hunting license. Yet we don't have to have a course just to own the firearm. The hunting license, the course on that, it goes over a lot of safety, a lot of things that can go wrong in hunting accidents. It teaches you about that. So why can't we do that for just guns in general? You want to buy a firearm? You got to do this 8-hour course. I don't see the problem in that. Is it really that much of an inconvenience for you to, take 8 hours on a Saturday to go take this course and get some safety? Learn about the firearm, whatever. I think they should. I think firearms should be regulated like cars. Cars get registered. They got VIN numbers. Guns get. I know guns have serial number. They get registered. All that. But we don't know how these people are storing these guns in their homes. We don't know how easily obtainable they are by someone in the home. I guarantee most people don't even lock them up or keep them locked up. I guarantee they don't keep them in a safe. And for those of you that do, great. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about everybody else that doesn't do those things. And as you people, like the gun owners that make such a big deal, y'all should be speaking up and saying, yeah, I think that's a great idea, because I don't want this person that's not doing what they should be doing to allow someone to get a firearm and then do this. And it's going to affect me when they do try to come and take my guns, or they do try to come and take my rights. You should want to be on the opposite side of that, to say, look, yeah, I agree, we got to do something, but you're not taking my guns. And I don't want to go through any course. And I don't want to go through that. It blows my mind, man, that nobody's open to anything. And then, like I said, the other side's screaming, take all the guns, take all the guns. Would that solve it? Probably not. I mean, I think there's enough guns in circulation right now. I don't think they need to keep making as much as they make. I don't think there's a need for, people to own AR-15s and things of that nature. I think there's enough of them in circulation right now. Why are we still making them? And I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this. I really don't care, because anybody that's a parent, I would think, would want to try to do something. Is there a mental health problem in this country, in the world? Absolutely. Is that part of the problem? Absolutely. What are we doing about that? Nothing. You know why? Because when somebody speaks out and say, hey, I'm struggling, I have a mental health problem, I need help. Well, back in, in 1960s or 50s, people didn't have these mental problems, and we didn't do this, and we just did that, and did. They get ridiculed and fucking made fun of, and so they don't go get help because they're made to feel like they're nothing. It goes untreated. I mean, you got people out here who have children who are autistic, and certain things trigger them, and they become violent at times, and then you get a phone call from a parent or a neighbor whose child is having an episode, and they just don't know what to do. They need help, and cops show up. They don't know how to handle somebody like that, not knowing that they're not in their right state of mind, and they use lethal force. That's a problem. it's a lot of issues, and I don't know how to begin to try to solve any of them. And it's, eventually when you try to come up with, you have these hard conversations with people and you try to come to some type of conclusion or some middle ground. A lot of times you're just met with so much resistance to where people just give up and they just stop and they just sweep it under the rug. And eventually the news won't carry anymore about this school shooting. They'll talk about the shooter and the people who were affected by this. And in a month from now, you won't hear nothing about it till the next one happens. And there will be another one. And there'll be another one after that. Our children are the future of our country. They're the future of the world. They should be protected at all costs, no matter what. Nothing should be off the table. Most people don't feel that way. I do. I don't. I've owned firearms. I do not own firearms at the moment. I'm not against owning them. But I care enough to say that something has to be done. And I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to convince people that doing nothing and arguing one side against the other doesn't get anything done. Um, I mean, think about the kids. Like, so many people were injured. Think about the kids that go to that school. How do they go back to school? I mean, how do you go back to school after that? Like, how would you walk back into that place? I just don't know how. And the families that lose their children, like, something's got to be done. I don't know. I just wish I had the answers, and I don't. And this was a private school, so usually it's public schools. Private schools are usually, most people think they're safer, and they kids get a little bit different, better. A lot of people think it's a better education than public schools. I think public schools are probably limited. Private schools are, they have a little bit more resources as far as financially. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I really wish I had the answers, and I don't. I just wish people cared more. I just don't think they do. I think they worry what directly affects them and don't give a damn about anything else. Basically everybody, nobody cares until it happens to them. Then they worry about it, and then they'll be screaming, "Why didn't we do something? Why didn't we do something? Because you didn't want to. Because you would rather argue about it." 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. Yeah, these people will never recover from this. These families will never be the same after this. Everybody's like, well, this is just who America is. It's a land of violence. That's what everybody wants. I don't know. I wish people making the decisions, the politicians, would understand it's a real problem, not a means for you to use on your next when you're running for re-election or you're trying to meet an agenda. Do something. Action. Uh, Taking guns away probably don't solve it. People will find a way to get them, like somebody told me. Um, Even teaching safety court, maybe that don't solve it either. But if somebody's really trying to gain a firearm to do something bad with, because some of these people they've gotten guns legally and then decide to do what they want to do. They were clearly struggling from a mental health perspective. They were good at hiding and covering it up, and that happens a lot too. And a lot of times the families didn't keep the guns safe, and there were a couple instances where they knew their child or whoever had um, a mental health problem, and they just didn't do anything about it. And then you got like this person had things written on the on the clips, the cartridges, like about God and everything. Clearly, there was something wrong there, but um, I don't know, man. Something's got to be done. I just wish I had the answers to solve it, but I don't. And I didn't mean to start the podcast off on a sad note, but these are tough conversations. These are things that need to be said, and I'm here to say it. And hey, man, I'm open. Anybody wants to email the show, my podcast 76 at outlook.com. I'd love to have a talk, a debate, a round table. Anybody email with their ideas, what they think. Um, between that and then, there was you read about, like this couple, the woman claimed that somebody abducted her child, and 9 days later they found out that their father was abusive and basically killed the kid, and then they threw it in a fucking trash can. The truth comes out that they killed their child, and I don't know. I don't know how people do that, man. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. But something needs to be done, about gun violence, and it's not just shooting up schools; it's gun violence in general. Something needs to be done. I unfortunately don't have the answers. We elect officials and put them in positions to help us with these problems. I just think they're more worried about lining their pockets with money or whatever, not to deal with the problems of the world, or at least of this country anyway. So I don't know. I just everybody, man, just hug your family, hug your kids, tell them you love them, because you never know when it's the last time. Never know. You don't know. Yesterday's a memory. Tomorrow's not promised. Today's a present. Today's a gift. That's why it's called the present or something like that. I think I've said that before. So, anyway, like I said, anybody wants to chime in, give their point of view, their opinion, Open Mike Podcast 76 at outlook.com. Let's come together, try to solve some of these problems. What do you think? Moving on. I know that's tough. College football actually started last weekend, but it was like all the small schools. So there's some games on tonight, I think, and then the college like officially starts this weekend. And then next weekend, NFL starts. Y'all see that right there? Gonna do work. Commander signed Terry McLaurin. Finally, he was a holdout, hold in. Finally got him signed. Signed, sealed, delivered. We're gonna see what we can do this year. I say we like I'm on the team. I think a lot of people say that. I didn't get much feedback on the fantasy football thing, so that's probably a no-go. I know some of the people had reached out to me about it, but it wasn't enough to basically make a league. So we're just gonna axe that little project maybe next year. But yeah, I got each week, not this week, but next week, hopefully. I got a guest that's gonna come on. We're gonna do a segment For those of you that play FanDuel, like do a little gambling, like to play the points and uh, prop bets and things of that nature. I got a guest that's going to come on each week when the NFL season starts, and we're going to basically give some picks, give some pointers, give some advice, talk some football, and yeah, we're gonna. I don't know what to call this segment yet. I still got to think about it, but speaking of sports and football, man, like over the years, I know there's been like a lot of theme songs, like and like football, NFL, and specifically, it would be on ABC, it'd be on NBC, it'd be on CBS, it'd be on Fox, it'd be on all these different channels, all these different stations, and each one had their own theme song. So um, it's like as soon as you hear the music, you get like pumped, right? Like instantly, like ready to go. And I remember like the announcers back in the day, some of the favorite announcers, Pat Summerall, John Madden, um, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, um, and then some of the. I used to listen to satellite radio, and I'd listen to games sometime on Westwood One, and you would get God, what's his name? Man, I can't remember his name. But I think everybody thinks Pat Summerall and John Madden as like um the main, you know what I mean? Like they're like everybody's favorite, right? Is John Madden and Pat Summerall, and Troy Aikman, John Buck, Joe Buck have been a big one, over the years, and I like Mike Tirico. I think Tirico is great. Like I said, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford. Al Michaels still does him and Collinsworth do the Sunday night games. Um, but there's been so many. Mel Reese. I think he was more. No, he did football. Yeah, Merrill Reese did football. Um, Merlin Olsen, Mike Mayock, which I wasn't really a fan of him. He did a lot of college stuff. Like I said, Mike Tirico, Vin Scully. I mean, a lot of people. Some of these people, this probably won't know who the hell these people are. Jim Nance, he's another one. It's him and Romo right now. I think Romo's not bad. A lot of people don't like him. Dandy Don Meredith. Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say all good things must end. He was on Monday Night Football with Howard Cosell, probably one of the most distinct known, um, announcers. Like I said, Troy and Joe aren't bad. Jack Buck was Joe Buck's dad. Marv Albert. Marv Albert's. He was the one I was trying to think of on Westwood One. It'd be Marv Albert. Like I said, I mentioned Chris Collinsworth, Howard Cosell. Kurt Gowdy. I don't know if y'all remember him. Dick Enberg was another one. I remember back in the day on ABC. Maybe it was NBC. ABC or NBC. Dick Enberg, Dan Fouts. I mean, there was always, but I think John Madden, Pat Summerall, Al Michaels, a lot of these announcers. But all these different stations had their own kind of theme music. So when you heard it like you'd get pumped, right? So you'd have like NFL on Fox. That's a good one. Then you got CBS. That's not bad. Tried to find some of the older songs too. Let's see. I like the Sunday night. Thursday night, I don't even have that one. I ain't big on the Thursday night one. Especially when Thursday Night Football first started. The theme song was sang by CeeLo, I think, and it was terrible. But I like the Sunday night one now. This one really gets you going. Ain't it? Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is like you about to go to battle right here. Yeah, we getting it on. Yeah, I actually like that one. I like the Fox one too. But I don't know if y'all remember back in the day, NBA on ABC. Like I grew up in the 80s, 90s watching Jordan. So to me, the only thing close to these NFL theme songs is the NBA on ABC. You hear the cowbell in that shit. Need more cowbell. Yeah, man. When these songs start, man, you know it's time. You know shit's getting real. NFL, greatest sport, and this is my opinion. NFL football, greatest sport ever. I mean, you hear this? If this don't get you pumped, you're looking live. About to go to war. Get your camo. Yeah, man. So yeah, each week we're gonna do we're gonna talk about some pick. We're gonna make some picks and predictions. We're gonna cover point spreads. We're gonna cover over unders. For anybody, maybe nobody's ever gambled before, and you kind of want to get in, get your feet wet. We'll help you. We're gonna talk about a little bit of that. We're gonna help you out, and we'll make 5 picks each week, and we're gonna track it as the week goes on and see how we do throughout the year. But yeah, I don't know what to call that segment yet, but we're gonna try to set that up next week for next week's episode. It'll be before the football games on next Sunday. I like college, I do, but it's not. Some people say college football is better than pro. I mean, if you like watching amateurs, because I mean, college is amateur. I mean, it's one step under. They're not pro. So that's also my opinion, which a lot of people probably will not agree with. But yeah, those theme songs, man, those are like theme songs from over the years, and I love like just that music just gets you going. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see. What's up with that? What's up with that? We need to do let's do some weird news headlines from around the globe. And I don't have my what's up with that theme song at the moment. What's up with that? What's up with that? Weird news. Let's go. What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Y'all know anything about these Labubu's? Labubu? Labubu thieves steal $30,000 of merchandise. Labubu? What's up, Labubu? What the hell is a Labubu? I see these things be selling for big money. Big money. Labubus. They look like little creepy dolls. There you go. Angler reels in first documented orange shark off the coast off Costa Rica. First documented case of such an unusual fish. An orange shark? No. There's pictures. That's wild. A freaking orange shark. Man fishing in waters off the coast of Costa Rica reeled in an unusual catch. The first documented orange shark. Garvin Watson reeled in the 6 foot 6 inch nurse shark while casting his line near, not going to pronounce that, some national park. That's wild. Looked like an alien, he said. Oh, this guy owns some hotel. He got big money. That's crazy. What causes the shark being orange, I wonder? I look that up now. Yeah, orange sharks. That's kind of weird. What? Idaho man takes 96 wet sponge hits to the face in 1 minute. It's a world record. Who in the hell? So we're just sitting around, right? This is like something people do when they're drunk, right? You sit around and you're like, oh, I bet I could do this. How many times you think you do? I don't know. So these guys are just sitting around and because this is in the Guinness World Record. An unusual Guinness World Record title probably. An Idaho man took 96 hits to the face with wet sponges in a single minute, recapturing an unusual Guinness World Records title in the process. David record breaker Rush and frequent collaborator Jonathan Hollywood Hannon previously held the record of the most wet sponges thrown in 1 minute. Team of two with a total of 92, but they were later beaten by another team who managed 93. So how did the Guinness World Record, the book, like I have a lot of those books and they're cool. I think they used to be cooler back in the day, but now they're just like whatever. Who sat around and was like, hey man, you know what I bet I can do? I bet I could take 50 wet sponge hits to my face in 60 seconds. Damn. You think you can do that? Yeah, I think I can do that. All right, let's give it a go. Who in the hell sat around and came up with that idea? Like the Guinness, y'all should go online and look up the Guinness, some of these records. It's like, who in the world came up with this? Cool. Somebody threw 96. I bet you one damn thing. Let me throw the wet sponges. I bet you don't take 96 of them to the face. I don't know why the hell I keep looking at that door. Let me throw them. You ain't taking 96. I'm gonna throw them things like Nolan Ryan. I'm put some heat on that shit. Hey, batter, swing batter. I throw the old pepper ball. Hey, batter, swing batter. Cannon, swing batter. Funny. Yeah, that's weird. There's a whole. I could probably do a what's up with that segment just on world records, Guinness World Records. Trespassing snake apprehended at a Texas car wash. The snake wasn't trespassing; it was in the car wash. Didn't belong there. Y'all try and get somebody with that stupid headline. There you go. Long lost postcard returned to sender 72 years after it was being mailed. So don't ever give up hope, people. A postcard lost in mail for 72 years arrived at an Illinois post office where officials were able to track down and contact the now 88-year-old sender. Postcard, which was sent by Alan Ball to his parents Frederick and Elizabeth Ball in 1953, arrived recently at the Ottawa post office, where Postmaster Mark Thompson took an interest in the mystery. Thompson said the card, which depicts the UN building in New York, was likely mishandled at the post office inside the United Nations, ended up lost in a crevice or other unseen location for decades before finding itself back in circle. So it's set in the crease of some mailman's seat in the truck or at work. It fell between a machine or something. And it sat there for 72 freaking years. Come on, man. That's crazy. But it also tells you I would never trust the postal service, snail mail. Yeah, I wouldn't. Wouldn't trust snail mail because just think they're gonna lose something delivered to somebody 72 years later. People probably don't even exist anymore. Let's do one more weird. Let's see. Let's find one more here. No, I didn't want that. Let's find one more. That orange shark got me though. I'm gonna have to look that up. Dinosaur like alligator snapping turtle. No, it's a snapping turtle. Guinness World Record mark Guinness World Records marks 70th year with unclaimed title challenge. Squirrel honored with Topps card after interrupting a Yankees game. That's funny. These aren't really weird. These are odd headlines. I wouldn't call them weird. Vegan firefighter's first day involves 40,000 pounds of steak on fire. That's funny. Kind of an inside joke. Oldest living person celebrates 116th birthday in Britain. I'm going to read this one because I like food. Mexican festival's taco serving breaks 3 world records. A festival in a festival in a Mexican city, they don't say which one, served 13,215 tacos in 1 hour. 1 hour, 13,000 tacos in an hour. And the process also broke another Guinness World Records for the largest stir fry and largest frying pan. 100 culinary students using a 23-foot diameter frying pan to prepare a stir fry dish called La Discata, which contains sausage, beef, pork, bacon, tomatoes, peppers, onions, and beer. Isn't sausage and bacon pork? They say sausage, beef, pork, bacon, tomatoes. I don't know. Stir fry cooked for 3 hours and 40 minutes over a wood fire, and the 5,300 pounds of cooked food were then turned into tacos served to the festival's 10,000 attendees. The event earned 3 Guinness World Records: the most tacos served in 1 hour, the largest stir fry, and the largest frying pan. Leftover tacos from the event were donated to local food banks. Well, that's a good thing. Donated food, didn't throw it away. And that's this week's What's Up With That? What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love this orange shark thing, man. Let's see what this is all about. Is it a certain species? It's a rare mutation. A rare genetic double whammy. Let's see what this is about. This orange shark is called a rare genetic double whammy. Albino xanthochromism. 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 Be easy to see in the water. Yeah, it's like a goldfish. Xanthism, or unusually yellow pigmentation, is so rare it's only been recorded a handful of times across all animal species. That alone makes this orange shark special, but it also had white eyes with no visible iris, implying the shark has albino xanthochromism, the mix of two rare conditions. Wow. I know we should just let animals live free and do whatever, but I feel like this guy belongs in a special place. He should be, he or she, they. The nurse sharks are normally brown and unassuming color that helps the predator blend in the surroundings. Remarkable, but the orange sharks have survived to adulthood without such camouflage, a promising sign for its survivability, according to the paper. I just feel like, or maybe we should just let it live free. I don't know. I feel like that animal needs to be protected. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Hold on. All right. Y'all know what time it is. Everybody's favorite segment, including mine. Open Mike Mailbag. Let's go.
You've got mail.
You got mail. Open Mike Mailbag. Let's open up the mailbag. See what's going on. See what y'all talking about. What kind of shenanigans y'all got me into. Here we go. Subject, thank you. Mike, I just wanted to say thank you for your honesty in a recent episode about mental health. As a single dad myself, I often feel like I'm barely holding it together. Hearing you share your struggles and still find humor in life really helped me this week. Chris in North Carolina. Chris in North Carolina, thank you for tuning into the show. Thank you for emailing the show. Thank you for your kind words. And look, man, I'm glad I can help somebody out. You know what I mean? That's what life is about, man. I help you, you help someone else. We just pass it along, pay it forward, as they say. And yeah, man. Look, it's not always easy to find a way to smile, but there's always things in life to help us smile and help us, kind of not think about all the bad. And um, we got, anybody struggling, you got to find it. You lose your smile. You got to find your smile. You got to get your smile back. But Chris, thank you for the email. Thank you for listening to the show. Appreciate the support. There you go. Here's another one. Subject: do you even prep, bro? Bro, what's up, bro? Mike, I love the podcast, but dude, sometimes it sounds like you just hit record and start winging it. Maybe outline a few talking points before the mic goes hot. Unless organized chaos is the brand, then never mind. Amber, professional overthinker. Amber, thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for emailing in. And yeah, I have some talking points. I have some things I want to do and talk about, and then it kind of starts off semi organized, and then it just goes off on whatever, and that's just how my brain works, and we just roll with it. So I wouldn't call it unorganized. I wouldn't call it organized chaos, but it's just me, you know. Um, it's just one man, one mic, and just whatever coming off the cuff. So I appreciate you listening to the show. I appreciate the email. Appreciate the support. Thank you, Amber Amber, professional overthinker. Here's another one. The sound quality, bro. What's up, bro? Dude, well, I got a bunch of surfers email me now all of a sudden. Why does your podcast sound like it's recorded in a broom closet during a thunderstorm? Invest in a better mic before you blow up, because I believe you will. But until then, my ears are suffering. Mason, he's an audiophile. Well, Mason, it isn't recorded in a closet, a broom closet, or during a thunderstorm. I may have recorded one during a thunderstorm. I don't know. I have a really good mic. It's a dynamic mic, actually, and maybe you need to invest in some better speakers, or whatever, because I don't get no complaints about the sound quality. I think sound quality is pretty damn good, if you ask me. But Mason, I appreciate you listening to the show and appreciate the email. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, comment. Don't forget, y'all been slacking lately. Here we go. My grandma is your number one fan. Mike, my 82-year-old grandma listens to your podcast while walking on a treadmill at Planet Fitness. She calls you Mikey with the good voice. Oh, shit. Mikey with the good voice. Man, I don't let too many people call me Mikey. Very few. As a matter of fact, I can probably narrow it down to one person. Last week, she yelled, "Let's go!" so loud during one of your rants that the guy dropped his dumbbells and set the lunk alarm off. Can you please give Granny Doris a shout out? She says you're kind of cute for a podcaster. Steph in Ohio. Steph in Ohio, thank you for listening to the show. Thank your grandmother, Granny Doris, for listening to the show. I appreciate Granny's support. I appreciate your email. Mikey with the good voice. Granny Doris, a shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to Granny Doris. Granny Doris, email me. You know what I'm saying? I got the good voice. Let's go. Mikey with the good voice. Man, I went to a JV football game last night. First game I'd been in, and I couldn't tell you when. Man, the announcer, like the play-by-play guy they got calling the game, that dude had no personality at all. I feel like I could do that job. I feel like I could do that. I don't know what y'all think. Here we go. Subject: my dog hates your intro song. Hey Mike, love the show, but your new synth pop intro makes my dog lose his mind. Every time it plays, he runs in circles like he's being chased by ghosts. Now my neighbors think I'm training him for dog racing. Keep up the good work, but maybe tone down the bass. Kelly in Florida. Man, I thought everybody liked my new intro song, man. But I like 80s kind of synth pop music. I thought it went good with the show. I don't know. Thanks for the feedback. Appreciate you listening to the show. Thank you for the email, Kelly. I'll take that into consideration, but most people tell me they like the new music. So, let's do one more. One more. Here you go. Subject: my boss thinks you're my therapist. Mike, I listened to your podcast at work with one AirPod in. My boss caught me nodding along and said, "Good session?" I panicked and said, "Yeah, Dr. Mike really helps me work through the stuff." Now she thinks you're a licensed therapist and wants your business card. Help. Kelsey from Phoenix. Kelsey, appreciate you listening to the show no matter when or how you do it, and I appreciate the email. Yeah, Dr. Mike, I got you. I got you covered. Tell your therapist, email me, opemikepodcast76 at outlook.com. I'll be the therapist. I'll give you some therapy sessions, you know what I'm saying? Let's do one more. Hell with it. We'll just keep on going. Let's see. Man, negativity. Here we go. You're my guilty pleasure. Hey Mike, your podcast is like gas station sushi. I know it's probably bad for me, but I can't stop consuming it. Respect. Anonymous, but ashamed. Hey, don't be ashamed. Don't be anonymous. Hey, man, my podcast ain't for everybody, but if it's your guilty pleasure, you can't stop. Hey, don't be ashamed. Don't hide behind that anonymous name, and don't be ashamed. Come to the forefront. We're one big family here at Open Mike Podcast. We're all, I try to reach out to the common. I'm a man of the people. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man of the people. And so I try to talk about things and that we care about as just general public, general people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't talk about things like celebrities and all that, gossip crap and all that stuff. Because, man, at the end of the day, that nobody cares about any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change your life. It's just whatever. I'm a man of the people, not the people's champ. That's the Rock. Even though I could be the people's champ, the people's podcasting champ. I don't know. The champ is here. Champ is here. Yeah, I think I could do. I think I could do some play-by-play. Uh, Football. Let's see. No. Yeah, I think I could do it. Welcome back. We're live here in the fourth quarter. Score is tied 24-all, and this drive could decide the game. The offense lines up. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Shotgun formation. Here's the snap. Quarterback drop back. Quick pressure off the edge. He steps up, fires deep down the sideline. And that's a perfect throw in stride. Receiver makes the catch at the 30, breaks the tackle. He's finally pushed out of bounds inside the 20. That's a huge gain and exactly what this offense needed. First down, Blue Devils. 1st and 10 in the red zone. Hurry to the line. Defense trying to adjust. Snap again. A hold up. Oh, handoff up the middle. Running back finds a crease. Spin off one tackler. Diving forward. Brought down at the 8-yard line. Gain of 7. 2nd down. You can see the offensive line starting to take control here, Bob. They're winning at the point of attack and leaning on this defense late in the game. 2nd and short. Quarterback under center this time. 2 tight ends. He fakes the handoff. Rolls right. Looking. Throws to the back of the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown pass with just over a minute left to play, and this stadium erupts. I formation. Handoff for 27. For a gain of 3. That'll bring up 2nd and 7. I don't know what the hell. I think it could be announcing, but whatever. Hey, man, I appreciate all the support from everybody. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody emailing. I appreciate all the messages I get through social media, all the likes, all the comments, all the suggestions, criticisms. I appreciate all the contact, all the support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Let's sing a little outro. What y'all think? A little outro here. That's it for the open mic. Thanks for hanging tight. We'll catch you next time. Same place, same mic. The mic is closed. The show is done. But we'll be back for more good fun. The mic is closed. The show is done. But we'll be back for more good fun. The Open Mic Podcast was signing off today. Come on back. We've got more to say. These things are weird. All right. Don't freeze up on me now. Come on. This was the Open Mic Podcast. Stay loud, stay real, and we'll catch you next week. I don't know. Anyways, again, man, thank you everybody for all the support. Thanks everybody for the reaching out, for the emails, for comments, suggestions, whatever. I appreciate everybody. It lets me have a small moment in your life You guys are a big part of mine. Thank you for letting me be a small part of yours. Remember, tough times don't last, tough people do. Catch you on the next one. Peace.